I am the greatest man alive. At least that's what Professor Sherman says. Indirectly, of course. This is the 21 Balloons, published in 1948. It was published in 1948, right? According to the internet, yes. Now, thank you, internet. And the 21 Balloons. This is technically one of the greatest achievements of all time, because it starts off with one balloon, and then a professor goes off 40 days later, well, about 40 days later, he's found in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with 20 balloons. And it's said that he must have gone in the wrong direction, because either he's went backward or he went forward. And if he arrives at San Francisco, he'll have traveled the world in 40 days. I mean, nowadays, 40 days, traveling the world 40 days is considered a bit of a slow time. To be honest, I personally think it is. In fact, the fastest, if you technically are allowed to go through every airspace in an airplane without being shot down, you could technically travel the whole world in less than an hour. Well, in less than a few hours, to be honest. You need, like, this times a lot. And when the clock ticks 0, everything will be fine. But back to the story itself. The 21 Balloons is actually a pretty interesting story. It actually teaches us about the rarity of diamonds. And one thing it actually teaches us is what superstitions can do. You should not believe everything other people say. But those people are usually one of the most honest people alive too. Sometimes you shouldn't be able to believe other people too, just because they've lied once in their lives. It also teaches us honesty, too. It teaches us what deception can do and how we could do things in the real world. One more thing that I could tell you about the lesson you can learn from the 21 Balloons is how careful you have to be with money. The diamonds represent money, and it's like all the money in the world. And if you suddenly put in more money in the world, everything that was thought to be valuable would just become cheaper, and nothing will be valuable anymore. Hats, if suddenly the world is suddenly like you're having a good hat market, and then suddenly a guy comes in with a bajillion hats, more than anyone else owns. In fact, more than everyone else owns combined, and you suddenly try to sell them, and they're all like, "Bro, you have a lot of hats," and the cat market should be $1,000, right? Like, one hat should cost at least $1,000 right now, but you just added a lot of hats into the market, meaning each one is like less than $1 now. And this is technically how inflation works too. And if you suddenly put in a lot of diamonds in the diamond market, and diamonds are extremely rare, at least natural diamonds, then you'll have crashed the stock market of diamonds, and each diamond will cost, like, I didn't do this math, but it'll be like $5 each. Or if you like have like $1 million diamonds in there that are like baseball sized, you would just crash the market value of diamonds by a lot. And that's just one little thing we're going to have to talk about. And of course, with this, everything will destroy itself. Now, why? Now, also the ending itself, I don't really enjoy the ending. Now, the ending goes out like this. Sherman's all like, hey, so everyone's in the audience are like, what are you going to do now, Sherman? What are you going to do now, Sherman? And Sherman's all like, big reveal. Da, 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 da. I have these 4 diamonds that were given to me by my good old friend, Mr. F, a.k.a. Mr. France. And now, I will sell all them so that I can make a new balloon. Now, Christian Globe II, so that I can go ahead and go up there again for a year. Woo! Good luck! Yes! Adios! Annyeonghaseyo! 再见! Yeah. Everyone was basically doing all that. And then, yeah, that's where the book ends. But I don't really enjoy that ending myself. Personally, I don't like the ending when he's all like, I'm gonna sell all these diamonds, get a lot of wealth, and live the rest of my life as a professor again. I've missed civilization, and I really like being a teacher anyway, as long as my students listen. Oh yeah, and all those future students out there, behave or you will get punished. Yeah. I actually would enjoy that ending way much better. But instead, it'll basically be like this. More of a refined ending, perfect ending would be this. I'll sell these 4 diamonds and live the rest of my life in comfort and peace. And no more ballooning, because I am tired of all this. I'm an old 66-year-old man. That's it. And yeah, that would be the perfect ending for Sherman, to be honest. He wanted peace. He's an old man. He can literally retire from teaching if he sells all those 4 diamonds. He basically has an income that lets him spend a lot of money every day. And if he just goes back to the Krakatoa Island and brings back a few more diamonds, then he would be able to spend at most $1 million a day for the rest of his life, and some of the days of life for his descendants. And that's it. Now, I don't think Mr. Sherman will marry at all. In fact, if he does marry, he'll probably just make himself a hassle and break his wanting of peace and solidity. And he literally hates children. The children he tried to teach were very, very naughty, and he would think all children are naughty except for the children who were on the Krakatoa Island. So he'll know that they're all fine, and that's pretty much it. Now, what do you think about the story? Personally, I think it's a great story. It's a good lesson about how life seems to work out, and what would happen if a moon colony could happen too. I mean, this is just one way moon colonies seem to work, and it could also seem to show what other colonies can do, because some colonies can just cut themselves from the rest of the world just by finding a really, really valuable resource. Well, you can't cut yourself completely from the world. In fact, if you do, you're just going to run out of materials. All you can do is just do exports outside the colony. In fact, if you do have a colony, and eventually that colony works out fine, then you'll basically made yourself a very profitable colony. Like, when Columbus landed in America, he kickstarted the era of colonization. The Virginia Company was great and was successful, and was self-striving by sending stuff to their parent countries. This book shows us the possibility of a colony if it's successful, and how people seem to work out well enough too. This book can also be split into 3 phases of colonization. The first phase, studying, and he did that. The second phase was creating a little base colony, and the third phase was making it livable. And he did that. He even cut himself off the world and kept this colony a secret, Mr. M, that is. Until Mr. Sherman and told the secret to everyone after the island was destroyed. So don't live on volcanoes. Yeah, don't, especially if they're active. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Hunter and John. Hope to see you guys soon in another episode of Hunter and John. And see you guys soon. Now, peace. I am inevitable.